So, folks, now, normally when we've been doing these town hall segments, we've been talking about Republicans, where Republicans show up, people organized in their community show up as well, and it's a good time. This time we're doing something a little different. We're going to be going and taking a look at Wesley Bell's town hall in St. Louis, Missouri that happened last week. And it did not go particularly well for Wesley Bell, in part because the town hall was interrupted by pro-Palestine protesters. And, well, Wesley Bell doesn't have a great track record when it comes to wanting to end the genocide in Gaza. So this is, it's gonna be a time. Let's take a look.
Congressman Wesley Bell, District 1.
Oh, this got hot? You were actually here, Paladin? Hell yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, you got these beams here. So I'm going to try to keep walking on both sides of the stage so people can see and things of that nature.
I know that he said beams, but I really like that the caption read beans. We got some beans here.
So let me just start by saying this. Listen, what I hear online when I talk to people is, we want to talk, we want to ask questions. And so now we are here, so let's do that. Let me ask this. I'm going to tell this to everyone in this room. Just stop talking. This is not your town hall. You can leave. Nobody, if you don't want to be here, you can leave. But let me just say this. Let me say this.
The camera that they used for this must be warping him crazily, because his proportions are absolutely insane right here. I can't emphasize enough. I am not distorting this video in any way.
The bottom line is, and I'm saying it because I see more folks on this side, but I'm going to keep going back and forth, is that I don't duck away from tough questions. And the problem that...
I don't duck away from tough questions, but I want you all to leave so you don't ask me the tough questions. I want you to all duck away from asking me tough questions.
The thing that concerns me is that we've gotten to a place, not only in this society, but in St. Louis, where we're not even willing to have conversations. And we gotta be able to talk. Whatever the issue is, let me just be clear. There are a lot of important issues.
Oh, you also organized against the data center in St. Charles? Travis T, thank you for gifting a sub to my rear end. Hell yeah. Good job to folks on the ground here showing up to this town hall, giving them what for like inaction on a genocide. And also good on all you fine folks down in Missouri showing up and putting an end to that St. Charles data center. I think more and more activism needs to be around like stopping these data centers from stealing our water and like dramatically running up our energy bills. Like it's a pretty easy win to organize around, I think.
That we have to deal with as a region. Stop. Listen, we're going to get to it. We're not going to duck any questions.
You don't got to
Listen, I really want you to be here because I actually want you to hear my conversation when we talk about the question. But if you're not going to be respectful to everybody else, just go. Now, what I want to say is there are a lot of important issues in this region, and so there's a lot of people who want to talk about a lot of different issues, and we're not going to be here all night, so we got to get a chance to talk about all of those issues. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have conversations because what I want to start off with and tell you.
I love that he's starting off to talk about how much he wants to have a conversation while also trying to avoid a conversation. It's crazy.
And that tell you about is while we're sitting here being divided and fighting one another, we got other folks out there that are taking our democracy from us right before our eyes. Right before our eyes. The Supreme Court is gone for a generation. We have lost the House. Let me finish. Just because you're
Yeah, what are you gonna do about any of that, numbnuts? Like, that's the thing, right? Let's talk about how all the ways we're fucked, but what are you gonna do about it? You know, what are you going to do about it? When it comes to genocide in Gaza, there's some pretty easy things that you can do as long as you're willing to lose that sweet, sweet AIPAC money.
not like what I have to say. I mean, you can't hear what I have to say. Just sit down. Nobody's even hearing you. Just sit down. It's okay. I got you. Here, noted. Here's the thing, though. We got a lot of people. We got a lot of things that we gotta deal about because we're seeing federal funds being taken away from cancer research. We're seeing federal funds taken away from Alzheimer's research. We're seeing, we're gonna talk, we're gonna take the questions. We're seeing, I'll answer that question too. I can answer that question, but I'm not gonna answer yours. Just relax, we're gonna get to those questions. So, we have right before our eyes, our democracy is being taken from us. And so, now this is what I decided to do.
Oh, that's right, Paladin. This is the guy who took down, like, Cori Bush armed with AIPAC money rather than unseating a Republican. What a piece of shit.
What I decided to do is I'm gonna give y'all.
I was trying to remember why I know his name, and that would be it.
I'm gonna give you an opportunity to say your voice is heard. We know there's media here. If you want, if people want to let them know where you stand and your voices. So I'm gonna give you that minute, but that minute is almost up, and we need to.
Also, Paladin, since you were there, can you answer why was there a bowl on the ground? That seems like a really random thing to have on stage.
Start talking about issues, okay? There's a lot of issues, and we don't talk about all of them, and we absolutely can talk about what's happening in the Middle East. But there's other issues because while we do not like seeing the humanitarian crisis right there, we got kids, we got heard you, noted. But you know what we got? The number, let me say this. That is, it's terrible what's going on in anymore. Let me tell you this.
It's terrible what's going on in any war. What a weaselly little guy.
The number one killer of kids in St. Louis between 1 and 17 is gun violence, and there's some people who want to talk about that too.
I wonder what the number one killer of kids in Gaza is. Literally, this is from today. Israeli military says strikes on Gaza hospital targeted a Hamas camera without providing evidence. Which, like, from the AP, this is a pretty damning wording from the AP. But just to be clear, what the context of this is, the Israeli military bombed Nasser Hospital earlier today, multiple times, killing like over 20 people. And their reasoning that they provided after the fact, again, with no evidence, was that they believed that there was a camera being operated by Hamas at the hospital, and that warranted killing 20 civilians. No, it's literally like they thought they saw a spider and they had to drop like, you know, tons of munitions on it. It's insane. It's insane, right? Like, there's a reason why people are so fucking angry about this. They killed doctors and children. Also, earlier today, The New Yorker posted an interview with Jacob Lew, who is the former U.S. ambassador to Israel under Biden, and how former Biden officials defend their Gaza policy. And I wanted to pull this out because, again, I do think that when we're talking about our current political hellscape, so much of it has been enabled and strengthened by Democrats, right? And I want to just read you this one excerpt. I want to read you one excerpt from this piece, okay? And it is damning as hell. When you would call them, Israel, in the middle of the night and say, "What on earth happened?" what was usually the answer? The general pattern was that in-the-moment stories were inaccurate, and that the Israeli military and government establishment were not in a position to fully explain yet. We could almost never get answers that explained what happened before the story was fully framed in international media. And then when the facts were fully developed, it turned out that the casualties were much lower, and the numbers of civilians were much lower. And in many cases, the children were children of Hamas fighters, not children taking cover in places. Sorry, what did you just say? Like, I guess it's fine to kill those children. It's fine to kill, those children. After all, the bloodline has been tainted, I guess. This is the sickness that is at work in the Democratic Party. When we're talking about Wesley Bell accepting that AIPAC money, we're talking about that line of thinking and that line of reasoning becoming just an accepted, okay, well, I guess it was fine to kill those kids. It was fine to kill those children. So I have nothing but utter and complete contempt for Democrats like Wesley Bell.
We're going to sing our national anthem.
Fuck. We're gonna sing our national anthem. Fuck off.
This concert, happy or sad, we're going to call up Beta Wilson. And if you would please stand for our national anthem. Something that we all can do because we all are citizens of the United States. Thank you. Greetings. Thank you. Okay, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly
This is so uncomfortable.
at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars.
Oh, I'm having a good day, Distron.
For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed,
This is a Tim and Eric sketch.
and the rockets red alert, the bombs bursting in air, they proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Give it up for yourselves.
The vibes of this are so deplorably rancid. This is crazy. This is crazy. Like, how do you continue to double down on this ideological position while people are screaming at you about how that position supports murdered children on the other side of the world? It's crazy. Oh, the bowl is coming back.
Don't tell Trump. Right.
Is that the crowd? Is the crowd chanting "They need to go" about Wesley Bell?
So you can kind of understand how this is going to work. And we are going to have live questions. Right?
Are they singing a song about how he needs to go? Cause like, damn, you organized a whole ass song right about getting this man out of office. Hell yeah.
So there are questions that were submitted during the registration process, and then there will be questions tonight from you, the audience. If you came in and you did not receive a blue ticket, and you would like to have a question asked, please raise your hand and one of the staff members will get to you.
Yeah, the ants were marching 2 by 2 and taking Wesley Bell away.
To a blue ticket. We will pull from this little cute little brown bamboo that's in here, and these are blue tickets, and we will pull from there, and you will be able to ask your question. But right now we're going to go through the top questions that were asked during the registration process, and we will let Congressman Bell answer those. So please raise your hand if you have not received a ticket and you would like to ask a question, and that would be the second part of our live process. All right, first question.
Okay, Riley Ray, I'm gonna read your comment. Riverboat Jack, I have a question. I'm very drunk. Can you tell me what the fuck is going on in this video? Yes, the man sitting in the chair right there is Wesley Bell. He is an elected representative in the House of Representatives of the United States Congress, and he is holding a town hall with his constituents, the people who voted him into office, and it's going very, very poorly for him because he took a load of AIPAC money and has been, well, let's say, unwilling to condemn the genocide going on in Gaza, and is, by all accounts, pretty cowardly, and people are not very happy about that. And I'm simplifying that quite a bit, but that's the long and short of what's happening here.
What are you doing, Congressman Bell, to fight back against the rise of authoritarianism and fascism coming from the Trump administration?
Did she just say fascism? Okay.
So, what I would say is that for the folks who know me know I don't exaggerate, I don't do the hyperbolic stuff. So when I tell you, man, we're gonna get to your questions. We're gonna get to your questions. Yeah, you know. So when I say how serious and dangerous what we're seeing to our democracy, I absolutely mean it. And I think people have to understand what is happening. And I talked about that earlier. What is happening in our democracy and why it is so important that we push back. And there's a strategy to be able to push back. And it starts with litigation, legislation, and mobilization. And the honest answer is, right now in the super minority, we don't have the ability to subpoena. We don't have the ability to investigate because Republicans have that majority, and so they have that ability to do it. But we're going to continue to introduce legislation to push back on what this administration is doing.
God, what a weak ass answer. Yeah, we're gonna introduce legislation and that's doomed on arrival, but it'll fight back. Okay.
We're going to continue to work with our partners to get litigation passed, which we've had over 200 cases. We heard you. We had over 200. We're going to get to you. Everybody wants to be here. Listen, there are people here who want to talk.
Yeah, dude literally saw Hakeem Jeffries and was like, I'm gonna be just like him. I'm gonna be just like Hakeem Jeffries. What a courageous leader. Everyone loves Hakeem Jeffries, right?
Sarah, I'm gonna give you the same thing. I'd love for you to stay here. But if you can't respect everybody, you gotta go. You can't respect everybody. I can't even hear you. So anyway, so we can't even answer questions that might have not been other people. We can only answer questions that other people. That's what you said. Okay, all right. So while we get to it, so why don't you let me answer questions? Because these questions were submitted. All right, it's not your question. At any rate, so those are the things that we're doing, and we have been able to push back on some of the things. But I got to be honest with you, when we say we have an absolute moral obligation to win the elections, to win the midterm, to take the majority.
Yeah, only if you plan to do something good with that power, you ding-dong. Yeah, you have a moral obligation to do that if you plan to do moral things with that power.
Have to do that. Period. Because no matter what we do, I heard you, we're going to get to those questions. No matter what we do, if we don't take the majority back, they've already taken the Attorney General's position, so nobody's investigating it. The Supreme Court has already said that the president essentially has immunity, so they're not going to do anything about it. And so we're in a place where we're in a super minority.
Yeah, I can turn the audio up a little bit.
And
that's too loud.
In that super minority, we don't have the ability to legally. I'm sorry, we heard you. Don't get to your questions. And if they were answer, when we talk about the guy's questions, you want them interrupted? Thank you. So when we have those issues here, we have to come together. We have to make certain that we are bringing this same energy to the elections next year.
Hey, calm it down. Let me ask the second question. Can I ask the second question? Let me ask the second question. All right. Several people who registered for tonight's challenge your position on Gaza. Several people who registered for tonight's challenge your position on Gaza. Oh, you're quiet. I hear you. Raising concern about U.S. support for Israel doing what they describe as genocide. Pointing out to reports of civilians facing starvation. How do you respond to those criticisms? And what do you believe America's role should be in this Congress?
Get his ass.
You gonna let me answer the question? Are you gonna let me answer the question? You gonna let me answer the question now? You gonna want me to talk about this? And here we are. You gonna let me answer the question? Or you just gonna scream and take up your attention? Thank you. Okay, now. So here's the thing. There are a lot of complicated issues about this subject.
It's not complicated.
Okay.
Not complicated.
Here we go. Sit down. This is not your time. You want to have a time? I'll have one. It's outside. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. lot of complicated, they're not just please that word now. They're not very, this is the last time. Last time, please. Last time, both of you.
Congressman Bell, it is not the last time. Security. Thank you.
Security. Let's try one more time. Let's try one more time.
That's why they should be
So here we go. So, there wasn't the full sentence. You know, sometimes there's a subject and predicate. So, there are a lot of...
Dude keeps belittling members of the audience that are... They're his constituents. Like, you gotta be able to answer these people who have... Like, I'm sorry, even if you are... someone in the camp and you believe what he believes, you should be able to understand why people are showing up to protest you and are angry as hell, right? Like, you might be wrong in your belief, but you should be able to understand why people believe like I believe, that there is a genocide in Gaza. Should not be difficult for you to understand that. But their goal isn't to understand, and their goal isn't to treat these as valid concerns, because their goal is to support their donors, AIPAC. Their goal is to support, like, the line that they have been fed by their lobbyist handlers. And ultimately, that is why this man can look down his nose at these people and say, and belittle them. People passionate enough to actually show up to a town hall, organized.
Complicated issues in this situation. Feeding children is not one of them. That's a very simple thing to do, is to make certain that we are flooding the zone, surging humanitarian aid.
And we're not. And we're not. And why is that? Why are we not doing that? Who's preventing all of the aid from surging?
Let me finish the answer. Do you want me to print out an answer and so you just read it? So, what we need to do is stop talking. Answer the question. Keep going. Now,
What we do not want is, sir, thank you so much for speaking up. But what we do not want is you guys combating.
Also, Paladin, since you were here, and apparently we're going to see a cop who went around threatening protesters in a little bit here. But since you were here, like, is this reflective of, like, the general community's attitude towards Wesley Bell? Because if so, this is giving me a lot of hope that we can sort out the issues within the Democratic Party when it comes to folks like Wesley Bell. When it comes to these people who just have completely abandoned what their constituents actually want.
Arguing back and forth with one another. Again, we understand how you feel.
you didn't answer the question. You don't know.
He's trying to answer. Okay, I'm gonna make a plea with you. How many would you need? 2 minutes?
For this question? No, it don't take 2 minutes.
Okay, can you give him? Can you give him? It's not going to be complicated. And I'll tell you what, if you don't agree with what he responds to, I'll give you a minute of all the things you need to, you want to get up and say. I'll give you all, you can just shout out. Shout it all out, okay? I totally hear you, trust me. I totally hear you, because I see how black men get killed by the dozen every day. So I totally understand.
Like, he doesn't even, like, he doesn't even have, like, the political sense to, like, appear concerned, to appear like he's listening and cares like, he doesn't even have that. He's just sitting there like, oh, he can't wait for this person to be done screaming and being upset about children being massacred. Oh my God. Like, it's crazy. Like, the level of, like, ineptitude is insane. I believe the woman who's screaming rather aggressively is being dragged out. There are a lot of cops there. Yeah.
Okay, give him a few minutes, please. Yes, I understand. Give him a few minutes. If you don't give him a few minutes, you gotta calm down. And see, that arguing with that doesn't work. That is not working right there. Yes, that is not working. They are arguing with one another. Someone needs to check, please. That is not happening. That is not what we do not want. That is what we do not want.
Y'all go to AIPAC to solve it.
That is not what we
Go
want.
to AIPAC.
You know, this is where we are. We see this all over the country. We can't even listen to each other. We can't
Y'all don't even know who AIPAC
Because the bottom line, this is the bottom line.
She is the
Stop talking. I heard you. I know what I understand. As long as I answer the question. So, here's where I am. And this is, I'm going to ask you about, well, you got a chance, you went to Israel. We also went to several Arabic countries. I'm talking now, I'm talking. I met with, not only, can I talk? I know they don't want this, but we gonna try, we try it. We want to try to talk about this. I met with the Palestinian Prime Minister. I met with the Israeli Prime Minister. I met with the World Food Health Program. I met with the Gaza Health Foundation. Because what I wanted to do, here's the thing, let me finish. You asked me, that question was asked, and I answered the question.
I really hate this man so much more just seeing him respond to the concerns of his constituents in this way. Like, keep in mind, this guy's supposed to be a Democrat. Just absolutely disgusting behavior.
Y'all done said nothing about Trump being moved.
Hey, you gotta respect everybody. Everybody has
They have another Wesley Bell song going. Like, I can't quite make out the words, but I'm hearing like Wesley Bell something in hell. This is not that big of a room, to be honest. At this point, about 3/4 of the crowd are pissed. Damn. You hear protesters mentioning Ann Wagner. She's for Missouri's 2nd district. A lot of people were genuinely mad that Wesley took the easy way out. Yeah, because him going up and unseating Cori Bush left Ann Wagner able to take a seat in the House of Representatives for the Republicans.
So, heard you, nice, let's go. Okay, so, I heard you, I did hear you, so we gave you the opportunity. Now let's get back to the talk. I heard you. Okay, that's cute. Now let's sit down. Come on. Sit down. Got it. Okay. Now, here's where we are. And so, I'm not one who likes to get like, are you ready? Are you gonna listen? Are you gonna talk? You asked the question and now we're trying to answer it. What it seems like is perhaps you don't really want the answers.
Again, oh, hey, the cop you were talking about, Paladin. He's made an appearance. But also, notice how Wesley Bell is just slimily, like, weaves around actually answering any questions and is instead like talking down to the constituents. Seems like you don't actually want an answer.
Because then you gotta grapple with some really complicated issues. Let's talk about it. You don't want to hear? That's what you said? You don't want to hear? Why are you standing up? No one can hear you. So why don't we just talk about it? Let's talk. Let's talk. Really, sir? Nobody hears it. Here's the thing.
No, guys. He had to take all of that AIPAC money. He had to. The only reason you don't understand why he had to is because it's so complicated, guys. It's just too complicated for your tiny non-politician brains to understand.
Here's the thing. We met with leaders. We met with leaders in Palestine. Because that was armed services here. So part of my job is
You met with leaders in Palestine. Elaborate.
to meet with leaders around the world
I want some names, motherfucker.
so that we can figure out what's actually going on in the ground to not only protect American lives but also our allies and to do those things.
Who the fuck were you meeting? Huh? Who the fuck were you meeting? Like, I want someone to ask him point blank, who did you meet? And because I guarantee you this motherfucker is just gonna be like, don't remember his last name, first name Muhammad, and like that would be it. Like it would be like, like just blatantly a lie. Dude, of course, dude has not done that.
Let's say. And so we met with those folks, sat down and asked the tough questions.
He sat down with John Palestine himself.
I was aided to ask Prime Minister Netanyahu what he was going to do about this.
Oh, you were able to ask Prime Minister Netanyahu what he was going to do? Oh, wow. Wow. That's so much. And clearly, because you asked him a question, he couldn't simply lie. It's not like Benjamin Netanyahu has ever lied before. He thinks all of us are morons. He thinks every single one of us are morons. It's crazy.
Humanitarian crisis. And I think as your representative, you want us to have to answer those tough questions. We were able to ask the World Food Programme.
Yeah. Oh, what? How did he answer that tough question? You were able to ask him that. How did he answer? And then did aid actually go in after that? No, aid's still not going in. That's crazy. But you asked him a question, Wesley Bell.
You're able to ask them what actually is going on in the ground. Because we hear things in social media.
We were able to ask the IDF what was actually happening on the ground. And the IDF wouldn't lie to us. Why, the IDF has always been incredibly honest and forthright. Just look at how honestly and forthrightly they've dealt with various journalists like Shireen Abu Akleh. Like, come on, dude, fuck off. This is making me mad, and I don't even live in his district.
We hear things on TikTok and what's actually going on the ground. And so what we found out was going on the ground is that everyone, whether they are, and let me just make this point too. If you want to know about issues in St. Louis, who do you talk to? People in Washington, D.C. and California?
Hello, Mohammed al-Palestine, president of Hamas. I had a very good conversation with Wesley. I laughed. He laughed. I denounced Hamas.
Thank you for the $10 dono, Mohammed al-Palestine. I appreciate it. The I laughed, he laughed line really got me. But like how brain dead do you have to be?
St. Louis, right? But, so if you want to talk about what's going on in the ground in the Middle East, you gotta talk to people in the Middle East. And so that's what we did. We took so that we can find out exactly what's going on. And so that's exactly what we did. And what we found is that the takeaway was the same with everyone. We need to surge aid. We need to end.
Damn, that's crazy. What about all of the international aid organizations that say that they have, thousands of tons of food waiting at the border to be sent in, and it's not being allowed in because of the IDF? Damn, that's crazy. Hey, what about the UN that had hundreds of sites for aid distribution set up across the Gaza Strip, and now the IDF is only operating 3? Oh, hey, wait, what about the US military contractor, Mercenary, who went to go help distribute aid at one of these points and came back talking about how he saw IDF soldiers shoot children at these aid sites? He saw them fire indiscriminately into crowds. No, but Benjamin Netanyahu agreed we have to surge the aid, guys. Okay.
We need to return the hostages, and we need to give Gaza a viable future without Hamas. Everyone agrees with that. Every single leader that we talk to Palestinians on the ground, we talk to Israelis on the ground, everyone says the same thing. Surge aid in the war. Return the hostages. There are still 50 hostages, 20 of them are still alive. And give Gaza a viable future that doesn't include Hamas. Because there's another thing you don't want to talk about.
One way you could do that is by not bombing them and actually having a ceasefire talk. It's really hard to return hostages when one side is refusing to, pull troops out of a territory if an agreement is reached, which that doesn't seem really like a doable agreement, really. Okay, guys, we'll give you everything you want, and then you get to take all of our land and just occupy it forever. And we, in exchange, get nothing. We get nothing. Yeah, that deal was never gonna fly.
Let's talk about October 7th. October 7th was not just. I just want people to know that. October 7th was not just a terror attack. October 7th was an invasion.
Yeah, okay, even if that were true, how does that justify the multiple years of destroying every conceivable building in the Gaza Strip? Even if you're like, yes, that was an invasion, that doesn't make sense for the scale of suffering relative to the opponent. Jesus Christ. Again, this is just, well, you see, their murdering of children is justified. It's just not.
I know you don't want to hear that. So, what Hamas leaders were doing when they breached Israel's wall, they sent a message to not only Gazans, but also they were hoping that Arabs in Israel, who are Arab Israelis, would also rise up. But they didn't do that.
No, I don't think that was the case. I don't think that they were banking on a mass uprising of Palestinians in Israel. All of the reports, all of the intel that I have read, and people on the inside who have talked on condition of anonymity or whatever, the members of Hamas who breached Israel on October 7th, they were surprised that they were able to get that far.
In fact, they stood more firmly with Israel after that horrible terrorist attack. So, what I'll say is, what I've said before, not what has been attributed to me on social media, because you won't find one quote from me that differs. We need to surge aid to make sure that people get fed right. We need to
This is such a weak defense of an indefensible position.
You disagree with that? You disagree with that? We need to end the war. We need to return every single...
Yeah, Wesley Bell, like, seems like he's on some kind of, like, I don't know, like strong dissociation role right now. He just seems completely disconnected from what's going on in this room.
Hostages and the law has to go.
I promise that I will make the moon a source of free cheese for everyone. But how are you gonna do that? I will make the moon made of cheese. But what are the steps? Are you gonna build some kind of magic cheese ray? I will make the moon cheese, and you will never go hungry again. Just like there's no again, yeah. Goals without a plan, exactly. Proud of how many angry voices are there. Good job.
Many folks who signed up tonight told us they're worried about cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Several mentioned the so-called one big beautiful bill that makes sweeping cuts to Medicaid and SNAP benefits. How do you plan to protect these programs that millions of people in Missouri and across the country rely on to get by?
That bill was outrageous, and it was disgusting to see tax cuts for billionaires on the burden. On the back.
I bet the most he's gonna say here is it was just really disgusting to see that. Anyway.
Of our seniors, of our children.
Wait, there's a crowd of about 1,000 people in that room? Damn, okay.
There's over 17 million people on Medicaid. 1.1 million people in St. Louis. 260,000 at risk to lose their health coverage. And so we are going to, what we have to do is we're going to have to undo that bill. We're going to have to undo that bill. And right now where we are, that's why when I said earlier,
we're going to have to undo that bill at some point.
We got to take the House back because right now our House Republicans are not going to do it.
Yeah, we got to take the House back. So you all get to work, and I'll just sit back. I'm doing my part by being elected already. Just keep electing me, and you guys get on electing those other people. Chip, chop, chip.
They will not stand up. Although it is hurting people in districts, not only in blue districts like up here in St. Louis, it's hurting people in rural areas, and it's hurting our seniors. Over 40% of women that give birth use Medicaid. And it is cutting those, and here's the thing about it, is that these Republicans did not have to cut Medicaid. They don't have to cut Social Security. If they introduced a bill that gave tax cuts to working class families and did not give these tax cuts to billionaires, you wouldn't have to cut Medicaid or Medicare. Democrats and Republicans would have signed that too. But that's not what they wanted to do.
Someone asked when his term ends. It ends in 2027. So his next election is in 2028.
What we're going to do is...
No, 2026. My bad. Math is hard.
We're going to do two things. We're going to, what I talked about before, we're going to keep standing in the breach and pushing back as much as we can. We're going to litigate with our stakeholders whenever we can to push back. And we're going to keep mobilizing, like when we were doing our Medicaid days, when we were meeting with healthcare providers.
Yeah, no, I mean that his term ends like January 3rd of 2027, but his next election is 2027.
To keep the word out so that people know that these are not just Democratic Republican arguments.
Like, I'm sorry, if you're going out there and saying, look, we need to retake the House, but you aren't doing anything to help retake the House, you're just like sitting fat on like AIPAC money as you like talk down to your own constituents, fuck you.
In DC, but
is somebody challenging this guy in 2026, Paladin? Because like, fuck this man.
Impacting people right here in St. Louis.
Next question. How can we rebuild after the recent tornado on May 16th in a way that keeps people in St. Louis to strengthen our economy and make affordable housing part of the recovery? What are some resources for people who have been affected?
On May 16th, a tornado ripped through the city and left a path of destruction. And I'm sorry, there's people in St. Louis that were impacted by this. Go on North St. Louis and tell me that that's not worth having a conversation about. So we're going to talk about it whether I got to get over here or not. So, because, when we walk those streets, we knocked on doors from people whose houses, you can look into their living room from the outside, because their houses were torn apart. And we're talking about people who are already on the brink of falling off that financial cliff, and now it's getting ripped away from them. We're going to talk about that, because we got to make sure that these folks have the resources that they need. So there's two things that we need to do that our office focused on. We need to make certain that all these folks have the resources that they need from FEMA. And so what we did was we reached out not only to our Democratic colleagues who were united, but we also reached out to the Republican delegation and got everybody on board to add pressure to this administration to get FEMA passed. So we were working the phone every day, talking to them every day, going public.
I don't think the Republicans are going to help you, bud. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Every day.
Because, like, so far, what I've noticed over on Truth Social is that Trump, like, bestows disaster relief. Like he's some kind of god king. It's infuriating. You have to grovel if you want your disaster relief.
We got those resources back. And so, but here's the thing, though. We got to talk about it. There's another tornado that's been going through this community. It's a figurative tornado that has been ravaging the St. Louis region. And that St. Louis region has been losing and bleeding population for generations now. We are losing industry. This region is dying a slow death. And so we gotta not only focus on
Dude's trying to filibuster his way through the last like 3 minutes of this.
Those resources. I'm sorry, there are people that need to hear this information because they're black folks and white folks who were destroyed by this tornado. So to say that we can't talk about it is disrespectful, and we're not going to do that. So what we need to do is two things. We need to make sure that we get the resources to those folks, but then part two of that is not only just the cleanup, but the build up. We gotta build up that area. Right. And that's what we had a tornado town hall last night. And there was like 30 people on the panelists. It was like more panelists than people there. It was a good conversation, but it was just a lot of people, so we didn't get a chance to say a whole lot. But what I wanted to say is that we already have FEMA on the ground. We have folks, we got activist groups, we got grassroots organizations that are on the ground doing God's work. Thank God for Urban League, thank God for Action SPL, doing great work. And we appreciate all Tiny Homes Project doing great work, and we appreciate all that. But here's the thing, when it comes to rebuilding this region that has been neglected for literally generations, there's not anybody that's coming to help us, it's us. We gotta come together and figure out how we're gonna move this region forward. So, there are folks right here in this region, which I believe is a sleeping giant, that we have to focus on economic development, regional development, figuring out how we
Anything to avoid talking about Gaza, huh, bud?
can work together so that we can attract.
Oh yeah, this guy's absolutely one of those abundance dipshits. Absolutely.
Industry, jobs, and families back into this area. And I'm gonna tell you right now, we hadn't had a major disaster like that since the late 1950s. So there wasn't a lot of institutional knowledge on how to deal with these types of situations. And let me tell you what, my team and my staff and myself, we dug right in, dived in to get every question answered, because we want to make sure we can give the best information, provide the best resources, and everything that we can do for this region. So if you have any questions about applying for FEMA, the deadline has been extended to August 26th. If you have any questions, contact our office directly. We are going to help you through that process. Because here's what will happen, is that FEMA is kind of, it's a governmental agency. If you call in, you might get...
Oh, okay. I guess it just ends there. Nobody's studied tornadoes before. What is the abundance thing? It's a new thing being pushed in the the Democratic Party. It's basically a rebrand of neoliberalism that argues that Democrats should cut regulations in order to, get some of their priorities passed. Like for example, Ezra Klein came up with it. So Ezra Klein argues that, if you want to build low-income housing, you should be able to waive regulations for, air filtration if it's next to, a highway, because it's better to get the housing, even if it has, slightly toxic air, than to have no housing at all. And it's just in order to make it cheaper. And it's just, it's awful. It's awful in every conceivable way. Even in his own example. It's basically, let's be Republicans, but nicer about it. That's ghoulish. I agree. I think that the abundance folks are disgusting. I dislike them a lot. And if you see Democrats dropping that abundance buzzword, it's usually because they are in some way associated with that faction of the Democratic Party. Basically, the next fight within the Democratic Party is going to be between the socialist wing, or the populist, pro-working class wing, and the abundance wing. So that's kind of where we're at. But I do have to say, it's been really, really, really nice to see that fight put up against a Democrat by other Democrats. Gives me hope with where this inter-party fight is gonna go, because I think we can win. I think we can win if we get more people involved on the local level. I think if you guys start showing up to your local Democratic meetings, I think you guys can radicalize your local Dems, and I think you guys can put up better candidates than these disingenuous, condescending motherfuckers like Wesley Bell. Go join your local Dems. Go join your local DSA. Go join your local Working Families Party. Get out there and join some kind of organizational structure that allows you to funnel your energy into making that happen. Because if none of us work toward that end, it does not happen. No one is coming to do it for us. So, with that being said, that was really, really cathartic to watch.
Jack is going to town. All the viewers gather round. Twitch and YouTube and swishy streams. All that content is bursting the seams. Politics, being, flame,